So today's video is really about the gold dust, about how you can actually improve and how you can learn from every single shot that you play. So I think it's really important, because I think most amateur golfers tend to react solely on the outcome of the shot, as in like how close did it get to the hole. And of course that's really important. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get this ball up and down as often as we can. But really, in order for you to do that, you have to have the ability to reflect on that shot, whether it was a technical error, a mental error, or was it just a little bit of feel? And they're the three factors you've really got to take into account from every shot. So don't be one of those golfers who just hits the shot, gets frustrated and moves on. I want you to be able to reflect on it. So this is what I mean. So I've got a pin there at the back of the green. It's uphill. And I think a lot of golfers would use their favorite club. It might be a 60, it might be a 56, and they would play a nice sort of release one chip. I played that absolutely perfectly, but you can see how it's come up around about 12 feet short. So the golfer, in my experience there, would be frustrated because it's very hard to hit all the 12-footer versus a 2-footer. Obviously, you know, really short game is a mathematics game. You get the ball closer, you can get up and down more often. But they're getting frustrated because it's not the result they wanted. When actually, if I was to properly reflect on that shot, I would give myself 10 out of 10 for the strike. I mean, I couldn't have struck that any better. It was perfect, it was low launch, and it was high spinning, because I've used a lofted club with a release one. The reason it didn't get close to the hole was my feel was a bit out. If I wanted to use this club, I would have to carry it much, much further, because there's a lot of spin when you use a lofted club. And then you start trying to hit it further, you maybe don't quite get the strike, which I didn't there. Okay, I don't like chipping too much with extremely lofty clubs up a hill. So really, the issue was, the reason that first one didn't go close is because I had the wrong club in my hand. So it wasn't a technical error, it was a mental error. So rather than using the 60, which I had there, if I very simply just go down to a pitching wedge, it will reduce the spin. It's still going to have some spin. Obviously, if I went down something like a 6-iron, it had very little spin, it would be very quick. That would be too quick for this shot. But a pitching wedge here will give me a little bit of spin, but it will allow the ball to roll up the slope. There are times when you want spin, and there are times when you don't really want spin. And that's the clever bit, is working out what you need to change and what club is the right one for each shot. So still use a release one, play the shot, and you can see how that's checked a little bit, but you can see how that's rolling up towards the hole, and I've got it within that sort of two-foot circle there, which means I'm going to get that up and down. And it just makes life so much easier. So that one, if I was reflecting on that, I think the strike was okay. It was maybe about an 8 out of 10 strike. Technically, not quite where I wanted it to be. Mentally, I was 100%. I totally had the right club in my hand, and of course, I felt it quite nicely. Same one there, it's checking, and it's running out towards the hole side. Okay, so that was a 10 out of 10 for technique, 10 out of 10 for the mind. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't want you to be one of those golfers that's all about the results. So let's change holes now here. This one on the left is a really interesting one, and it's really when you get these slopes where it becomes a little trickier, because here it goes severely uphill, big time left to right, and then it comes downhill at the end, so really quick at the end. And in my experience, golfers don't really, what I call, paint the picture of the shot well enough. Now, painting the picture, as Tiger would often say in his interviews, you've got to paint the picture of the shot. That involves really thinking about a routine that starts with the lie. If you look at all my videos, all comes back to the lie. The lie really dictates what shot you can, and more importantly, what shot you can't play. This particular lie here, it's fairway, it's fairly tight. It promotes more of a lower shot because it's down. I really want to keep the leading edge down, and I want ball first contact because of a lie. So in my mind, I'm seeing more of a lower shot straight away because I've read the lie first. Once you've read the lie, you have to look where you need to land the ball. So where would you like to land it? And here's really interesting, because there is no flat space to land it on. If you possibly can, I was always advised that you land it on a flat part of the green, because then you're going to get the most reliable first bounce. Here it goes up and then down, and if we think about this sort of logically, what we don't want to have here is too much spin into the upslope, because I promise you, most of you would do something like this. You'd use, again, a lofted club, play a really nice shot, and look at that, it totally dies. And then you would say, that stopped quickly. And I'd say to myself, well, it was always going to stop quickly, because you're using lots of spin into an upslope. So once you've looked at the lie, once you've decided where you want to land the ball. Now, I don't want to land the ball on the downslope. I want to land the ball around about here, somewhere here, because I know it's going to break off the side there, and I don't want to carry and risk landing on the downslope. If I land on the downslope, it's gone, isn't it? So I've got to land it into the upslope. So I've established the lie, I've established where I want to land it, then you establish the loft. So it's lie, land, loft. Really important. If you remember that, it'd be great for your golf. Lie, land, loft. A spinny shot, 56 or a 60, into that landing position is going to do what my first ball did. So I have to think now logically, okay, what club do I need to use now, which is going to make the ball go up the slope, but not have too much the other side? Because what I could do really easily is use, say, a 7-iron. A 7-iron 100% will get up the slope, look. But can you see how it's just gone the other side? It's just gone way down the downslope. So again, that was technically 10 out of 10. Didn't really use the right club, so it was a mental error. So if I do the same thing now with a 9-iron, it's going to go low enough with a 9, it's going to get up the slope and then hopefully trickle down. So we're looking at the landing spot. Have a little practice swing where you're really trying to work on your feel. Visualize it. I always like to look at my landing spot and then track to the hole. And then you go in there and play the shot, and we'll see if we've got the right club in our hand this time. So you can see the 9's had a little bit more check to it, and it's just rolling down there towards the hole. Yeah, about 1.5 foot away from the hole. So you can see how I've worked that out. Too much loft, too little loft, the right amount of loft for this particular shot. And people ask me all the time, they say, what club should I use around the greens? And the answer is, I'm afraid, it's always the same answer from me. It all depends. It all depends on where the pin is, what the ground condition is, on what the slope is doing. But if you can get into that lie, land, loft and really reflect on the shot, was it a technical error, a mental error, or was it just a bit of feel? Because sometimes, of course, I can get the right landing spot, I can have the right club in my hand, and I just hit it a little bit too hard. And then again, that goes past the hole too far. It's not too bad with a 9, but it has gone past the hole a little bit too far. So I logged that in my mind and think, right, next time I practice, I've got to work on my feel a little bit. And when you're on the golf course, just don't get too frustrated if you're hitting great shots and it's not getting close. You've got to work on your mindset. And the more you hit a shot and think, I should have used that club, of course it banks. The next time you're in that hole, you're probably then going to make a better decision next time. Okay, so let's head to the bunker now, and we'll talk about maybe some shot selection from the bunker, different distances. So we're in the bunker now. This is where technique becomes obviously really key, and I know a lot of you struggle with bunkers. I've got lots of bunker techniques out there in terms of videos, so check those out and really work on your technique. This is a tough shot. This is a shot that a lot of golfers struggle with. I'm going from here to the back pin. It's around about 25 yards, 25 to 30 yard shot. Arguably the toughest shot in golf. So here I've got my 56 degree. I've got to try and get it to that pin, so I've really got to try and increase the speed, maybe take a little bit less sand to get it there. And again, if I'm reflecting on the shot, I've played a really nice shot there, so I cannot be critical. If I was looking at that, obviously it depends on your level. Some of you just have to get it out, but if you're at sort of maybe a lower handicap and you've hit that shot, you're probably thinking, I've hit that to 20 feet. I'm really not very happy with that result. Technically, 10 out of 10. To try and get it further with a 56, I've really got to increase the speed. I've really got to increase the speed of my swing. Okay, then we can maybe start not quite getting the strike, which I didn't there. It becomes very difficult playing that type of shot with a lofted club. So I would review that and think, well, actually, technically, that was good. Not going to beat myself up for that. Technically, I was really good. Mentally, I think I let myself down because I didn't give myself the best chance because I had the wrong club in my hand. Okay, so I'm not going to try and go away and think I've got to rebuild my technique because I've left the bunker shot 20 feet short. What I'm going to do is make sure that next time I play this shot, I'll use the right club. And the right club for me here would be a pitching wedge. Nice narrow sole. It's going to skip the sand a bit quicker, and it's going to allow the ball to run out more to the pin rather than have too much spin, which of course a sand wedge is going to create from this position. So same setup, not going to change much at all. Same swing, come out a little bit lower and hopefully run out more to that back pin. And you can see how that wedge just wants to run out there towards the hole. Really nice shot. So technically, really pleased. Mentally, really pleased. And the feel was good. So you can see how you hit the shot. Don't just put the club back in the bag. Just spend 2 seconds thinking, okay, what should I do next time? What should I do? Next time I get this sort of 30-yard bunker shot, it's not the 56, it's the pitching wedge. And then you start to train yourself about using the right club in the right situation. You see that ball running up the green? Okay, just a much, much better way of playing the shot. So again, it's all about reflecting on the shot. Don't get frustrated. Every shot you hit, good or bad, it's a learning opportunity. I know we get frustrated in this game, don't we? And if it's all relative, of course. If you're hitting bunker shots like this, and it's only just getting out, or it's not getting out at all, and you get these big, deep divots like this. If I was getting a big, deep divot like that, I'd be thinking, why is that digging in? Okay, I'm not just going to be all about the result. I'm thinking, why? Okay, I'm getting too diggy down into it, but probably leaning the shaft a little bit too much. Okay, so it's digging in this way, and then I would then reflect on it and make sure I allow some time to practice my bunker play before next time I play, or at least get into the garden and just work on my basics. Go into my book and really work on the basics and think about, oh, okay, it's digging in because I'm probably going there, and then you start reflecting technically. So it's all about reflecting technically, mentally, and working on the feel to make sure you're always improving. That is the goal. That's how you improve, and hopefully that will help your short game going forward. And I'll see you next time.